Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Still no details on settlement involving Ruel Reid and Jamaica College staff member murdered. And later in sports, West Indies avoid follow-on after rain curtailed day 3 in first test against. I'm Vashan Brown and here are the details. Education Minister Favour Williams has indicated that she's unable to give details on the settlement agreement between the Jamaica College Board and the former principal, Ruel Reid, including the amount paid out. But as you hear in this report from O'Shane Masters, the National Integrity Action, NIA, is raising concerns.
Corruption watchdog National Integrity Action, the NIA, is calling for a disclosure in the settlement which was reached between the Board of Jamaica College and former headmaster, Ruel Reid. There have been numerous questions pertaining to the details of a settlement following Mr. Reid's resignation on Saturday. Executive Director of the NIA, Professor Trevor Monroe, says the secrecy behind the agreement is questionable, as Ministry Paper 10, 2019, stated that in a settlement agreement relating to human resource personnel matters, the final settlement amount or value should not be the subject of any non-disclosure or confidentiality clause.
Now, it may well be that the trust would contend that it's private money or not public money, but here we do not know.
Education Minister Favour Williams was asked this morning if the funds used for the settlement were from government or will be funded solely by the institution, but her response too was not clear.
Jamaica College is a Bursa-paid school. The government pays for the teachers it hires and gives grants for other situations. And so it is a payment that, is part of the government's funding to JC.
She was further pressed to clarify her statement.
Let me just paraphrase, as you're saying, it's the government only who is financing this settlement.
No, I'm not saying that, but the details of which I do not have just yet. But I just want you to know that this situation, the way it ended, is in the best interest of Jamaica College going forward.
I understand, but I just want to get it very, very clear so there is no speculation.
Well, I think I gave clarity.
Ms. Williams, however, noted that the settlement will be a one-time payment. As to making the details of the settlement public, she gave this response.
Government is a transparent government, and I'm sure if it's not made public in the time frame in which the media wants it to, the media knows how to get the information, but there's nothing to hide.
In the meantime, Jamaica College Trust, in a release on Monday, said it is satisfied with how the matter was handled. It further stated that it is confident that the most appropriate options were examined and informed and principled decisions were made in the best interest of the school. The Jamaica College Trust is the legal owner of Jamaica College, which is recognized as a trust school. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
A staff member at Clarendon College is the latest murder victim in the parish. Roydell Sr. was shot and killed on the school compound Sunday night. Herman Green reports.
The crime wave sweeping through the island touched the Clarendon College school family Sunday with the murder of 37-year-old Roydell Sr. Mr. Sr., who was called Tay, was murdered at a cottage where he lived on the school compound. Investigators say he was shot and killed sometime after 10:30 p.m. by gunmen. His mother is heartbroken.
I'm out here, my son lay down like when vehicle lick dog. Pan him face. I know say Tay have no wrong door nor no bad. Man, I don't know him make her mail with nobody. Tay no trouble people.
Senior worked at Clarendon College for close to 8 years. The school's principal, David Wilson, said the staff member's killing is cruel and will be a big loss.
He began working at Clarendon College in 2014 and has functioned in several capacities to include groundsman, sanitizer during the COVID pandemic, and has also served as chef for our athletes. His manner has been commendable, always friendly and greeting you with a warm smile. My recent recommendation for him included that his behavior has been such that he can always be seen as an exemplar for young men to follow in being industrious.
Mr. Senior also worked as an office watchman for North Central Clarendon Member of Parliament Robert Morgan. Mr. Morgan, in expressing his condolences, described Senior as a peacemaker and family man. The police are asking anyone with information that can assist in the murder of Mr. Senior to call 119 emergency number or the nearest police station. More than 90 persons have been murdered in Clarendon since the start of 2021.
Residents of Lower York in Seaforth, St. Thomas say they're at their wits' end over a garbage receptacle in their community. Now, the current location of the receptacle is raising health concerns. They want the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, to remove it urgently. Sandy Williams has their story.
An unplanned outcome has angered residents of the Lower York community in Seaforth, St. Thomas. What was expected to relieve the residents of garbage collection issues in their community is now causing heartache for the people. This receptacle was erected 6 years ago to remedy improper disposal. However, residents claim that even when the skip is full, passers-by insist on dumping their waste there, and now it has become a nuisance and a health hazard.
But the people that throw all dead animal in the something out there, so, and it's not good for the health in the district and whatever. You understand? But the truck all been a bit biased. The truck always come, but the garbage are pile up with throw all dead dog and steer free and all kind of something that throw in the garbage out the road. So.
Right now, if you look at my veranda step, you see the blood. Me not clean it off yet. Me can't tolerate it no more. It is too much.
They say the problem is even worse because there had been no garbage collection in the area for almost a month and the stench was becoming unbearable.
It's about 3 weeks now. The garbage truck haven't come to collect garbage. Rats and dogs drop pampers also, that's something in my yard. And I have children in the yard and it's very unsafe for my children, for my grandchildren and my grandnieces and so forth.
Right now, the truck not really come as often as it used to. And to the end of the day, we become a victim to it. So the people start rebel, saying that it become an annoyance to them. Because garbage moving from one place, from one home to the other. And they have to be cleaning it up.
I believe that the garbage should not pile up there for so long. What I believe that the truck can come 2 times for the week because the district is very large. So we need proper hygiene with the corona and all kind of disease.
So the people have decided the skip must go.
People from all boat can garbage control it. So if you move it, they need to move it from right here. They have to move it. Yes. That's all me have to say. They need to move it because it's not sanitary.
While our news team was on location, a unit from the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, came to clean up the area. Calls to the NSWMA's Executive Director, Audley Gordon, went unanswered. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Jamaica saw a decline in the number of new COVID-19 cases on Monday, with 48 down from 102 the previous day. New COVID-19 cases were reported from 2,030 test samples. A 3-month-old baby was among the new cases reported. This has increased the overall case count to 90,855. The positivity rate is 7.4%. According to the Ministry of Health, 176 people remain hospitalized with the virus. 8 patients are in critical condition, while 15 are severely ill. In the last 2 weeks, 912 active cases have been confirmed on the island. Meanwhile, 4 more people have died from COVID-19, pushing the death toll to 2,363. 1 death is under investigation. The country's overall recovery rate has increased to 61,965 as 129 more people have recovered from the respiratory illness. And it's now time for a break, but please stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Two of Jamaica's major law enforcement agencies have signed a memorandum of understanding to strengthen their partnership to rid the country of corruption. As Jamila Maitland reports, they're hoping their combined efforts will rid the country of dirty money and take the profit out of crime.
Money laundering, fraud, and other financial crimes continue to be a challenge for law enforcement, and with it comes other issues such as organized crime and gang violence. It's why the Financial Investigations Division, FID, and the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA, have signed an MOU to formalize and fortify their relationship to combat this.
We have traditionally worked very closely in conducting our investigations, our very complex investigations. And I believe the formalizing of the relationship will just make the relationship work better, and we will obviously be able to deliver more effective investigations going forward.
According to the FID, MOCA is its closest partner in tackling public sector corruption, removing the profit from crime, and disrupting criminal networks. Among its cases is the high-profile court proceedings involving former Education Minister Ruel Reid, embattled president of the Caribbean Maritime University Fritz Pinnock, and other co-accused. The formalizing of the relationship will feature more joint operations, investigations, and intelligence sharing. FID's Chief Technical Director Selvin Hay says through the partnership, the Proceeds of Crime Act will be more utilized to put a dent in financial crimes.
Earlier this year, we signed an MOU with the JCF, and we're looking to sign an MOU with the Jamaica Customs Agency, along with other partners working in this field. So, I would just like to ask the public to join hands and heart with us so that we can continue with this drive of really dealing with the financial crimes and taking the profit from crime.
But the MOU signing also comes on the heels of the submission of an action plan to Cabinet, as well as to an international body that flagged Jamaica as being too soft on money laundering and other financial crimes. The FID says of the 220 active criminal and civil cases it's investigating, more than half of them are money laundering related. A whopping 1.2 billion Jamaican dollars and another 182,000 US dollars in assets have been recovered from 17 cases closed as of October 2021. 8 people involved were convicted of drug trafficking offenses and 4 for lottery scamming.
These two agencies have worked very closely together over the years. And so the MOU really formalizes and further strengthens the work that we've been doing together.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
And it's now time for the Business Minute with Cody and Barrett.
Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, has announced a new initiative to develop Jamaica's orange economy. The project, Evaluation of Jamaica's Cultural and Creative Industries Through Economic Impact Studies and the National Statistics System, is funded by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The project aims to, among other things, develop a comprehensive profile of the Jamaican cultural and creative industries to guide cultural policy making. JBDC's Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Harold Davis, says the project is timely, given the huge impact experienced by the tourism industry and the cultural and creative sectors as a result of the pandemic. Business internationally, Americans' cost of living is rising faster than it has for 3 decades, with food and fuel driving the increases. The Consumer Prices Index for October showed prices rose 6.2% over the last 12 months. It marks a sharp jump from September, when prices were already rising at 5.4%. Inflation has been a growing concern for shoppers and policymakers this year as the impact of the pandemic persists. And that's it for the Business Minute.
For the top regional and international stories, here's Sandy Williams.
In regional news, Sir James Mitchell, the former Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, died on Tuesday. The 90-year-old was late last month flown to Barbados for medical treatment after falling ill in Bequia, his hometown. He had been diagnosed with dengue and a number of other health conditions. Sir James, an agronomist, was Prime Minister from 1984 to October 2000. He founded the main opposition New Democratic Party in 1970. Further afield, visited the terrifying scene and said the survivors had been badly burnt. The cause of the disaster was not immediately clear. With the top regional and international stories, I'm Sandy Williams.
We now head to a quick break. When we come back, Renata Brown will have your Midday Sports report.
Welcome back. It's now time for your Midday Sports. Now, double Olympic sprint champion Jamaican Elaine Thompson-Herah has been shortlisted for the World Athletics Female Athlete of the Year award. Thompson-Herah, who now holds the title of fastest woman alive following her 10.54 second clocking in August, won the Olympic 100-meter title in an Olympic record of 10.61 seconds before also defending her 200-meter title with 21.53 seconds. She also won gold as part of Jamaica's 4x100-meter relay team in Tokyo. Thompson-Herah makes the top 5 list alongside Sifan Hassan, Faith Kipyegon, Sydney McLaughlin and Yulimar Roas. In cricket, rain had the final say as West Indies reached 224 for 9 in their first innings reply at Stumps on a rain-affected day 3 of the first test against Sri Lanka in Galle. They still trailed by 162 runs in pursuit of Sri Lanka's first innings 386. Joshua Da Silva was 11 not out for the Caribbean team, who had resumed at 113 for 6. Cal Mears carried on to 45 from his overnight 22, while Jason Holder made 36 after resuming on 1. Rakeem Cornwall also made a rearguard 39 as West Indies avoided the follow-on. Now, Praveen Jarikwama was so far taken 3 for 39 and Ramesh Mendes 3 for 75. Rain washed out the entire final session on the day, while only 4 overs were completed after lunch. And a half-century from opener Deandra Dottin and an anchor role from captain Stefani Taylor led the West Indies women to a comfortable 6-wicket win over Ireland in their opening game of the ICC Women's 50-over World Cup qualifying Zimbabwe this morning. Dottin top scored with 73, while Taylor added 41 not out to take the Windies to victory at 163 for 4, needing 160 runs to win. Earlier, Anisa Mohammed claimed 3 for 40, while Taylor, Hayley Matthews and Shamela Connell had 2 wickets each in helping to dismiss Ireland for 159. And the reigning NBA champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, recorded the largest halftime lead in their franchise's history as they routed the Orlando Magic 123-92 in the NBA on Monday night. The Bucks led by 41 points at the halfway stage, with 7 players finishing a dominant performance with double figures. Drew Holiday led with 18 points. Elsewhere on Monday, Kevin Durant scored 27 points as Eastern Conference leaders, the Brooklyn Nets, rallied for a 117-112 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Phoenix Suns, second in the Western Conference, recorded their 13th consecutive victory by edging out the San Antonio Spurs 115-111. Jaren Jackson Jr. scored a game-winning basket with 6.7 seconds left as the Memphis Grizzlies beat the Utah Jazz 119-118, while the Sacramento Kings fell to their 8th defeat in 9 games at the hands of the Philadelphia 76ers, who won 102-94. There were wins too for the Charlotte Hornets, Boston Celtics, Atlanta Hawks, Indiana Pacers and Minnesota Timberwolves. And finally, Manchester United will start live after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when they take on Villarreal in the penultimate round of group stage in the UEFA Champions League this afternoon at 12:45. Former player Michael Carrick will take charge of the team as interim manager. United and Villarreal are first and second in Group F on 7 points each. Also at 12:45, Bayern Munich are on the road to Dynamo Kiev. At 3 p.m., Chelsea host Juventus. Barcelona are at home to Benfica. Wolfsburg play away to Sevilla. Malmo plays Zenit. Lille welcomes RB Salzburg, while Young Boys are at home to Atalanta. And that's it for your Midday Sports Report. Vashan, it's back to you.
Thank you, Renardo. And that's the Midday News. I'm Vashon Brown. Join us at 7 for Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, have a good afternoon.